Hello and welcome to Radio Faces, brought to you by HCCTV. I'm Indy Kalu of Sports Radio 610, and he is John the General Hall of Famer McClain, sports writer for the Chronicle. You could also catch him on Sports Radio 610, and when you're in front of that computer, don't forget to go to chron.com to read his amazing articles.
Thank you for joining us here at our HCC studios, as you have every week. And now we're going to get right into our favorite subject, the Texans. We talk Texans. What's on your mind about the Texans?
Well, now that the season's officially over and the Texans need to look to get better for next year, I think the one thing they cannot overlook is the importance of bringing in a number 2 wide receiver. You know, I've said it before that they need to spend their first 4 picks during this NFL draft on defensive players because they're transforming from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense, so they need to get the right personnel in place. But as I watch the season, as I review the season, I really think they're missing that explosive, sure-handed number 2 receiver, and I really think that Rick Smith and company need to go out there, whether it be through the draft or whether it be through free agency. I'd preferably like to see them do it through free agency, bring in an explosive number 2 receiver. With Santonio Holmes being out there, a recovering Lyman Swede might not go back to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Vincent Jackson, I know it's a long shot, I really think they need to be active in getting that explosive number 2 guy.
Well, they're not going to get a guy like Vincent Jackson, and Lyman Swede's been a bum since he's been in the league. He hadn't done squat at Pittsburgh.
Called potential, and he's been hurt.
And Doran Dickerson. I'd take Doran Dickerson before I'd take those guys. But I agree, they need another guy, but not at the expense of improving the defense. And that's what I want to talk about. Wade Phillips has been around a while now. He's watched film over and over. Players are coming in and they're talking to him to find out what he wants from them. What can you learn when you played 12 years just talking to a new coach, especially when you're switching systems and you can't go out on the field?
You can figure out what type of culture he's going to bring, if anything, and you're going to know the X and O's and the type of system. Because when they're talking to each other, even though they're not supposed to do it, you better believe that a player is going to walk out with something like this, a piece of paper with the formations, with a couple of the calls, and they'll get a better feel of what's going to be expected from them. But I really think you could get the characteristic and the personality of the coach that's going to be leading your defensive unit just from a few meetings. So it is good that they're getting a chance to meet him, especially if we do have this lockout, which we'll talk about later in the show, so they know what type of guy that they're going to expect to see when they go to their first mini camp.
Now, if players don't have to come in right now, this is vacation time till March, do you think players are eager to come in and learn the defensive guys?
Definitely. Not only that, they're positioning themselves and they're trying to let the coach know, hey, I'm serious about this job. I'm serious about learning your system. So unless they're a superstar like Mario Williams, who's probably one of the only guys on that defense who doesn't have to worry about his job, they're going to come in, shake the coach's hand. They want to be seen because if you're not seen, you'll be forgotten. And they want Coach Wade Phillips to know that they're eager to learn this new system. So I would bet that the majority of the guys do come in when they're not supposed to come in, so Wade Phillips can meet them face to face.
I spent 8 days at the Super Bowl in Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Las Colinas. We were all over the Metroplex. And I had a lot of people talking about Wade, talking him up based on what he's done with defenses in the past. Even the people that didn't like him as a head coach of the Cowboys, even though he went 13-3, 9-7, 11-5 before it was 1-7 this year, 1-6, I can't remember. But they're talking about how good the front seven was, that the big problem was the secondary. So they say the Texans fans and the players should be excited about what he's doing with those front seven.
You're right. Those guys, when you think about DeMarcus Ware, Anthony Spencer, and Ratcliffe, those guys, they cause havoc, and they're put in the right position. You know, I give them credit for their physical attributes and the way they get after the quarterback, get after the running back, but Wade Phillips did put them in the right position, and that's why they've made so many plays. And a guy like Mario Williams, who wasn't excited, should watch film with DeMarcus Ware and see if he could do the same things DeMarcus Ware does and get excited about this new system.